Men in Canada are struggling as there's been an uptick in the amount of men that are requiring unemployment benefits. However, according to some people in this video, the thing we should focus on are potentially more right-wing politics, people of color, and LGBT people. It's quite absurd. This video starts off relatively normal, and then just some craziness ensues about partway through. So we'll watch this video and then react to it.
Employment is also not growing as much as it should be in construction, in manufacturing.
The number of Canadians accessing employment insurance benefits is rising in Canada, with men leading the way. Canada seeing nearly 33,000 more people reliant on EI from April to August of this year, with women either seeing steady or declining rates for the month of August, while men seeing increases across the board.
The number of beneficiaries increasing in most occupations.
So essentially this video is about men struggling economically, right? So far, so good, just accurate. I'm assuming accurate if it's being reported, but seems pretty fair and unbiased so far.
But the sharpest increase has been in manufacturing. And men tend to be more employed in manufacturing than women are.
I think that exact type of sentiment around traditional notions of...
So this is where it gets ridiculous. Just like, this is ridiculous. This guy comes on, whatever, professor, sexualities, gender, and social change. I don't even know why they would interview this person, to be totally frank about this. Just talk about how to get those men back working, how to create jobs, how to get those same jobs working, maybe new jobs, whatever. This is where this gets, I mean... This is such a tough look. We have serious economic problems in Canada. This is ridiculous.
The masculinity and the men as breadwinner get...
Why already? He's been talking for 3 seconds. Why bring this up? Why even bring up the social, or the masculinity, the men are the breadwinners? Just talk about how to get these people back to work. What? The beginning of this already is so out in Looney Tune land.
Mobilized in very populist ways.
Adam Davies,
populist, like what are you doing, man?
a professor at the University of Guelph, says in an increasingly polarized world, stats like this could be used to spread a narrative that men are being further disadvantaged simply because of their gender.
Certain segments of...
Who cares about the narrative? Just fix it. I'm going to show some of the comments, but I believe the top comment is just someone saying, just fix the problem. What are you talking about? This is like a conversation that you would probably expect to happen on the far left corners of maybe a Twitch stream or something, would come on and have this like pseudo-intellectual thing about what's this going to do to our politics? This is like regular news, apparently. What are you talking about? Talk about, to be honest, to be frank, I think a lot of these people do this. Number one, just to use the degree he got from whatever school he went to. But number two, it's just easier. It's just way easier than actually having the discussion about how to grow the economy, what regulations to take off, what regulations to potentially put in. How do we invite more investment into Canada? How do we spur more growth? How do we get people excited to work? Where should they be working? It's just easier to bring up these ridiculous, like, I don't know, what is this? The point, it's almost so unrelated to this that it shouldn't even be brought up.
Male populations feel this way, or certain groups of men might have...
What do you mean the way they feel? They don't have jobs. It's not about how people feel.
These feelings of disenfranchisement, there's certainly a risk for that to be politicized in a way that fuels right-wing political momentum, which can be very dangerous to racialized communities, LGBTQ communities, can fuel xenophobia and anti-immigrant sentiments as well.
Davies said,
like, dude, if you come into the conversation about men getting laid off work, not having jobs, needing employment insurance, if you come into that and you start talking about how this is going to impact xenophobia, Islamophobia, whatever he said, about how it's going to affect LGBT people or fuel right-wing, like, what are you talking about politics? If that's your stance, it is you, if you're going to ever watch this, probably not, whoever that person is, you're the extremist here. It's not the hypothetical thing that you've concocted in your brain or whatever school you went to told you. I don't know where you get this idea from, but if your stance is real people losing real jobs, your position is, oh, this might lead to hypothetical things in my head, so let's talk about those instead of talking about how to get these men back working. You're the extremist. It's just such ridiculous projection, but you're already here. You're entering the conversation from this extreme, unhelpful, radical point of view. You're just fighting a boogeyman. Figure out how to get these people back to work. What is City News thinking with this segment? What are people supposed to think who just got laid off their job and are on unemployment insurance? And if they see this, oh, I hope those guys don't become right-wing politically. What is happening in Canada?
As marginalized people see gains in the workplace, it's important to understand it isn't the result of men being targeted.
Just because other groups are gaining in terms of representation and awareness.
Can you imagine watching this if you're one of these men that's just recently on EI, and now you're like, maybe you're struggling to pay rent, you're wondering about when you're gonna get back to work, how long am I gonna be on these EI benefits, and you're just watching this, like, you would make the probably reasonable conclusion that this entire segment does not care about you at all because they're bringing up everybody else. Just because other people are doing well, just keep your chin up, okay?
It doesn't have to put groups not who aren't part of that group who's making these gains at risk or at threat in any way.
Not help.
He doesn't even know what he's talking about. What did that even mean? It doesn't have to put groups that aren't in the group that's doing well at risk or at threat. What is he talking about? He's just like so biased. This is my take on what he just said. He's so biased that he just has to pivot back to the things he wants to discuss, which are whatever he learned in school. That's how I would take that. Because it's not even about what is being discussed. How to get men back to work. That should be the segment. And then you should have someone come in there, talk about, oh, well, they can plan for this, they can study this. There's a new factory being opened up over here. Maybe they can work there. Maybe some of these men can like relocate just a little bit temporary. There's a job here for 1 year. Maybe that's a solution. This guy coming in there, you might as well be talking about like sports or something just completely unrelated to that. That's crazy.
Helping relieve that feeling of despair among some men. According to Stats Can, a sluggish job market is not only adding more people dependent on EI, but also causing a greater pool of them to fight for a smaller share of jobs. But HR professionals say that could be a time for self-reflection.
There's lots of skills that they may have gained, so it's really lining.
Look, I don't even agree with necessarily what this woman says here, but this is at least reasonable. It's at least about what is being discussed.
Those up, what are they good at, and trying to figure out how do those skills transfer into some other role.
In Calgary, Edward Jen.
So I mean that is incredibly tough statement to kind of tell people that are laid off. Maybe your skills need to be transferred into another role. That's obviously like, that might be the bitter truth in some cases. I don't know. Because this segment of news is short. It doesn't have all these specifics on what the sector where these layoffs occurred or whatever. But that might be the bitter truth. It's just so easy for me or her or anyone to say that from your like air conditioned room. Oh, maybe you need to have new skills. Like, that's obviously a message that needs to be sent with lots of empathy and stuff like that. But at least it's relevant. Like, that, if that's her point of view. And maybe she's right. Maybe that is the case here. I don't know. At least that's pertinent to the discussion.
And City News.
So that finishes there. What was an incredible thing to watch, because I saw this on Twitter, this stat that more men in Canada were having to take EI. And so I looked it up and I just wanted to watch this video out of like just pure curiosity to see what was happening. And this is what the video was discussing. Right-wing politics, LGBT, racialized communities. So ridiculous. So I want to make this video saying Canada has a real problem with economics, not just for men, but for women too. But in this case, it's men. Just talk about how to fix the problem for men. Don't do this. Please, Canada, please fix this. Like, the general population, you can't just if there's a problem with men, you can't bring up everybody else. This is not helpful. It's ridiculous. It's very, like, it's incredibly shows a credible lack of empathy, in my opinion, from that person that came on here and started talking about everybody else. It's very selfish. Canada needs a way stronger economy. That's our biggest problem. Things like this. It's not climate change or whatever is being discussed the most in Canada's question period and in our politics and in our news. It's not like the fear of right-wing politics. We need a stronger economy. We need it quickly. We need to get people back to work and back to growing work that has a path for growing wages as well. So with that said, I'll finish the video here, but thanks so much for watching. If you made it this far, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Have a great day. And then actually, we'll quickly look at some of the comments for this video because they basically reflect what I was saying. But the first person, the professor makes us feel like an onion sketch. That's pretty funny. And this is the comment I saw that I think meant the most. Like, what does the unemployment rate of men have to do with right-wing and LGBTQ? LOL, just fix it. Exactly. So that comment, I think, sums it up very well. I'll finish the video here, but thank you for watching.